let us see transaction mode in MQ nodes. Okay, so here is the setup for transaction mode. Uh, Transaction mode is yes, and the setup for MQ is uh, here the persistent mode is default persistent is persistent. Okay, so let us check what happens. Okay, and we have the message in my file. So I'm going to put a message from my file. You can check the data over here. Okay, it is in JSON format, so you can check the data. So I have done some mistakes. I will show you like this. I have removed the two tags. Okay, okay. Now am going to test this, right? So so the transaction mode is what if I am putting it is yes and my MQ is persistent default persistent is persistent. So what happens? Okay, and I have assigned a backout queue for backout queue if the message is uh, if message is wrong, so it is a wrong message. So in what case the message will go to queue backup? Let us see. So I am going to test it 10 times because I have 5 properties to test. Okay, so the first one is persistent, non-persistent, and over here I am going to test all three. So there are 5 properties. So it will take 10 hits to test the things, right? So let us deploy the application. Yeah. So the application is deployed. Now I'm going to put a message and check the debugger is on or not. Okay, debugger is on. So whenever I put the message inside a MQ input mode, let us see what happens. Okay, the debugger is started and I can see that it is going, but it gave me error. Okay, now when I click next, so you can see the message is saved over here. You can see the queue backout has been populated with a message. So when I go and read it, when I try to read it by browse message, so you can see the message is shown here. Okay, so you can see further for more readability here over here. Okay, or you can check by clicking back out. Yeah. So if you browse here, it will show like this. Okay, so I'm going to switch JSON. So you can see uh, the message is shown here, right? So you can put it like this and open it open it in a notepad, and you can just convert it. Okay, it is not converting because it is not in one line, so you have to remove the spaces and all. So okay, anyhow, you can put it in character as well, and you can check it. So one thing I have tested, yes, and persistent. Now I will check for uh, here I put not persistent, and there I should be keeping the yes. Now see what happens. Okay, so no need to deploy. Okay, now I'm going to put a message. Now whenever I write a message, the my flow got triggered, and I can check that. Okay, when I step over, let's see what happens. So again, the backup queue is populated. So that means that queue in persistent or not persistent doesn't matter. Okay, so what happens? Non-persistent, persistent doesn't matter. So not persistent, not persistent doesn't matter. So what I will do now, I will test for automatic. In automatic, you can see that uh, I will select the automatic over here and I will deploy it. So once it is got deploying, and I keep the queues in non-persistent mode only. Okay. Now let us test what happens. So whenever I put a message inside a queue, it got triggered. Going to switch. Okay. Now you can see that what happens next. Again, when I let us see what happens. Okay. So you can see that the message got lost. I mean the message got discarded. Okay. You can see that backout is not populated with the third message. Okay. Now I am going to keep it as now I am going to keep it as persistent. So no need to deploy because it is here it is automatic. Now what happens when I going to put a message? Yeah. So let us see what happens. So again the message is getting discarded. Okay. Message got discarded. Here it is automatic. Here it is, you can see, here it is persistent. Okay. Now when I check, now I will check for no, transaction mode as no. So whenever you go transaction mode as no, and I am going to deploy, and here I keep it as persistent. Here I keep it as persistent only. Now let us put a message and check what happens. Whenever I put a message in a queue MQ, it is getting populated. Now check for over here. So it is getting discarded. Okay. Now I put it as not persistent. Okay. Yeah, done. So now what happens? Again it got triggered and the message is got discarded, I guess. Yeah, you can see only. Okay. Now I am going to check for I think all we have covered automatic and yes, no. So yeah, guys, if it is no or automatic, okay, depends on the node property. Okay, if it is automatic, it depends on the persistent property of yield. Okay,